Hey, what's up? It's your man Rico, the Opinionist. I thought I'd go live with this particular topic today. Whew! There's so much is going on, and I want to invite everybody to come on in and let's have this conversation. If you're on, the link is in the chat. Just click on there and let's talk about this whole thing. And this one thing only. And I hope you can see the title of this particular broadcast. It is straight black men. They seem to they seem to volunteer for the gay agenda, and I'm just kind of over it. I guess especially with the most recent um, picture that's come out, and from what I understand, it came from Fashion Week or something. Basketball player Russell Westbrook is doing. He's done like three poses that have been posted online. Him wearing this V sweater, this V cut sweater like a Letterman sweater, well without the leather, so this fitted sweater with this long skirt, pleated skirt, and it's caused a lot of conversations, a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts. Shout out to Kwame Brown for his commentary on it. Um, I'll read you what I had to say about it in a second. But what Kwame he posed a very great question. He said, "Hey, if you're supposed to be a heterosexual man, you have a wife, you have children, why are you wearing women's clothes?" And that's a good question. And it's for some reason, anyone who has anything opposite to say about this image, uh, they're being attacked. Now, Kwame Brown, he phrases it as these men biting the apple. And when he says biting the apple, it takes me back to the movie of Pulp Fiction. You remember Bing Rames' character when he was kidnapped, and when they finally showed us what was going on in that back room, we heard a lot of screaming, ah, yeah, woo, woohoo, yeah, ah. In the room in the movie Pulp Fiction, they show Bing Rames with his hands tied behind his back and an apple in his mouth. And these white guys were basically busting him wide open from the back. And that is symbolic of what Kwame is talking about. Y'all bit that apple, or you bit the apple to go along to get along, as Kwame has coined that phrase or made it more popular. Go along to get along, or he refers to it as the go along get along game. And for those who don't think that that's a real thing, well, obviously you're not living in reality. You're obviously living under a rock. For me, there's no question about it. And also, as relates to when it comes to these athletes and the things they can't say and can't do as relates to uh, speak out on what is right, particularly as relates to our community. Uh, he referred to it as company policy. And company policy is something that's had on everybody's job. Even the jobs I've worked, they give you what's called a hand manual, your job manual, about this thick sometimes it's thicker, and let you know what you can and cannot do as long as you work for this company. And some companies have even gone so far as to police what you do outside of work. For example, they'll say if they are looking on your Facebook page or social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, what have you, and they see something they don't like, they can fire you. So a lot of these professional athletes, particularly, period. Well, they have company policy that they must abide by. And then some of them go so far as to, quote, bite the apple and start doing things to show their allegiance. And some folks would say to the elite, show their allegiance. I'm good. Yeah, just keep paying me. I don't mind. I'll do whatever you need me to do, whatever you want me to do. Even if it means putting my own masculinity and my image at risk, I'll do it just to go along to get along. But before Kwame Brown came out in this, what I consider a more simplistic version or understanding of gatekeeping, we had a man by the name of Steve Coakley who for about 30 years or so went around the country, and he had a book or an article or a program that it was referred to as busting out the boule. And that is when they talked about the black gatekeepers from 100 years ago, post-slavery, even on the plantation. But he talks about these particular professional blacks, successful blacks, who get connected to the white mainstream corporations, and they gatekeep to keep anything that would disrupt their paradise in white supremacy, or that, or behind the lines. They will try to block it. And Steve Coakley talked about the Boule being an organization that was formed right after Sigma Pi Phi. It has fraternity, Greek letter stuff, and Boule. They're two separate things, but they work on this. They work like in concert with each other to make it appear that they are the 10% or the elite of the masses of black people. Y'all understand what I just said? And so Steve Coakley spent his life letting us know who these Boule players were, and where these Boule chapters were across the country, and how they operated. And he identified them as basically a lot of your higher up black professionals, be it the judges, the lawyers, the CEOs. They all have their little elite little click ups. And as a matter of fact, Steve Coakley educated us on how this whole gatekeeping thing, where it starts. It starts from when they were little. They joined these exclusive organizations and when they were children, called Jack and Jill. Then they work their way up to the Botillions and all this stuff. They do all that kind of ritualistic stuff to keep them uh, to so they can keep in mind their purpose. And the Boule and even the black Greek-led organizations, and the go along, get along, and or the gatekeepers in general, are not here to serve for the better good of the black masses. Only those who are part of the, as Kwame would say, go along, get along gang, is, as my man Steve Coakley, rest in power, Steve Coakley, the gatekeepers of the Boule. Got it? And as Kwame would say, those who are trying to uphold company policy. They can't say it. They can't do this. And the Boule folks, they flat out sell out the masses of blacks every day. And I've always said, in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, or even Atlanta, when it's majority black city and your city councilman, your mayor, your state representatives are all black, well, just pay attention to how that community looks. It looks like trash, because they get these positions just to say, I am mayor, I am governor, I am congressman. They're position whores, they're status whores. But that somehow translates into them doing work for the black race or black people. Got it? It's all a rouge. They've all bitten the apple. Once they pledge, they bite the apple. Once they do their ritual, they bite the apple, so to speak. So you got it. And so this Russell Westbrook situation, he's just in a long line of black men who volunteered, and one of my what I'm about to read to you, to be bitches, to just waive their rights to masculinity, waive their rights to be a masculine example for up and coming black boys and black girls. They waive those rights so they can stay in good. Your black rappers, your movie stars, your singers, they're all, because these entities like entertainment and movies, movies, sports, singing, all of this stuff, they're all part. They are controlled by a small group, but they have a lot of minions, if you will. And so, let me read to you what I thought about the whole Russell Westbrook picture. It says, okay. With my glasses off so I can look cool. I said, okay, I guess we should use these images of black men being purposefully paraded around in the public wearing women's clothes and taking pregnant maternity photos for white. I'm sorry, let me start that over. I said, okay, I guess we should be used to these images of black men being purposefully paraded around in the public wearing women's clothes and taking pregnant maternity photos for white magazines. Yeah, the gay agenda is real. The conspiracy to destroy the black boys is real and continuous. However, Since I already know this, I'm not shocked at these images anymore. I was already educated a long time ago by Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, Brother Neely Fuller, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Minister Farrakhan, and a few other African-centered scholars on the black male being the threat to white supremacist rule. Therefore, he must always be under continuous psychological and systematic attack. The public buck breaking and humiliation of the biggest and strongest black male has been a psychological strategy used on the black race in America since the American cattle slavery days. The only difference between then and now is that back then, the enslaved African male child and adults were buck broken by force as a tool used to break the spirit of resistance and or the rebelliousness in the male. These days, these already broken black dudes volunteer to be bitches. They volunteer to be publicly humiliation before the world just to earn a few dollars and any white validation. It's just a sad state of affairs. This is my official commentary on this whole these Russell Westbrook pictures. If y'all haven't seen them already, hold on. There it is. Y'all haven't seen them. Him wearing the dress and all that kind of stuff, wearing the skirt. And see, but here's the part that's most interesting about this. As I stated earlier, whenever you have something opposite to say about that, you get these weird articles coming out by the I call the the left wing democratically liberal influence publications. Of course, a lot of black females, a lot of gay white men, or just beta male simps of all races come out. So they've bitten the apple. They're cool with this stuff. Uh, well, they would say, well, it's fashion. Or, yeah, he's a heterosexual man. He can do what he wants. Or why does it bother you? All this kind of stuff that's going on, right? They're saying all these things to try to minimize what your thoughts are, even though we all have the right to have an opinion about what we see. But this whole free speech thing has kind of gotten out of control. Meaning the attack on free speech seems to have gotten out of control. If you say anything against what we know to be weird as F, weird AF, you get attacked. Your mental health begins to get questioned, or how you are wired begins to be put under investigation when we're looking at this foolishness. And also, back to the women, it is really strange to me, particularly black women, how they seem like they don't have anything to say about it. But I'm thinking, don't y'all have daughters that y'all may be concerned about who you may want to see them grow up to marry a strong black man? Even these dudes who have children, these black men who are who seem to be big up in this behavior, they obviously don't know who they are or respect their own masculinity. Because America has since this last election, especially, has been moving full steam ahead to try to eradicate masculinity. They started already before this election referring to it as toxic. And the media and all these influences on TV and the music and the images and videos and movies and stuff seems to done their jobs as it relates to erasing good common sense out of people's brains and reprogramming them to go along with this foolishness that's going on. And those of us who are not caught up in the matrix, we can see, I like to say red pill, particularly red pill men, we see this. Now the blue pill beta male guys, well, they're okay. They're okay with it. It's weird. But women, these same women who think it's okay for Russell Westbrook, big, tall, strong, masculine black man, to be paraded and emasculated and humiliated like a woman, to look like a woman, y'all don't have a problem with that? And if you come on, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, or leave a comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts. It's weird. And I don't understand why my community doesn't understand how important it is to have masculine little boys so they can grow up to be masculine men. So your daughters can have men to marry. Because men in dresses, men who are not sure of their masculinity, they don't hunt, gather, protect, and provide women. They don't. And also another point that was brought up, and it's very valid in my opinion. In my opinion, because this is Rico the Opinionist. The attack or the what I call the Pied Piper Pied Piper attraction or appeal to children. Let's go with Lil Nas or Lil Nothing X. He started off with a song that was so infectious to the ears of first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade children. And you've all seen the video where he goes into that elementary school and the children are screaming. I'm talking about like he's a rock star. And they all love Old Town Road. You're gonna ride till you can't no more. So much so that the grown people there at that elementary school ignored the lyrics. He said, I got lean in my bladder. It talked about taking drugs, doing drugs in that song, but the melody. See, that caught them. And so now they got the children hooked. He comes out with, tell me what you want, tell me what you need. Not that with that whole sliding down the pole on Satan's penis and gives Satan a lap dance. Then he comes in with the song and video Industry Baby, where he's nothing but gay men. They're dancing naked in the shower. Now, mind you, I just told y'all how he hooked the children. And then when you get them hooked, you can put these images in their eyes, in their heads, and all of a sudden, that's how you get them. Let's go back to these schools that are allowing men who are dressed up like women to have story time to try to normalize transgender and transvestitism in the minds of 5-year-olds. Because see, that's how you get your agenda across. Dr. Jawanza Kunjuku wrote these books called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. You go check out his videos on YouTube. Oh, they're awesome. But he made this statement that's very true, and it goes to what I'm just saying. If you want to destroy a black man, first you have to destroy him as a boy. You see, if you destroy him as a boy, he won't grow up to be a functioning real man. And that's always been the plan. You have to destroy black boys. You ever wonder how all these programs are out here, nothing geared towards black boys? Even we had the first so-called black president, but we know he wasn't black. You can't have a white mama and be black. But see, these are educated black folks that's pushing this narrative. See, white people are going to do it because as long as you ain't white, you got to be black or something else. That's what I appreciate about white folks. They know what white is, but blacks don't even know what black is. You can't have a white mama or Mexican dad or whatever, Russian dad and black mama. You can't have all this white and non-black in the room next to you as a child and you're being called black. That's stupid. That ain't biologically correct. But black people in love, desperate. But I guarantee, like I've always said, if Barack Obama with the same pedigree, educational pedigree, the same world travelness, the same wife, but he looked like Don Cheadle, Black America would not have voted for him. Not in 99%. Maybe 78 to 82. Maybe. White America probably wouldn't have voted for him either. You ever notice whenever the conservatives or Republican Party presents a black man, it's an actual black man that looks like I do and looks like Don Cheadle? And the Democratic Party always present black men look like Cory Booker, Angela Rye, who else? Barack Obama. Don't ever be black folk. They get these mulattoes and push them out there as black. The Democratic Party has a problem with black men who look like me. They'll push out the black women. They know black women. A lot of them, these Joy Reid kind of black chicks. They all. And so, but they don't ever push a real black man forward in the Democratic Party. Just pay attention. So this go along, get along, this boule, this gatekeeping thing is real. And these guys are biting apple. They're volunteering to be bitches. These black rappers, every time they sign a contract, they volunteer to be Sambos, to share and pass on destruction to their own race. So Russell Westbrook and people before him who put on these dresses, it's always the biggest, the tallest, the strongest black man. Y'all know what that's about? I'm going to connect something with you. Y'all know these Karens that have been approaching black men in the public and wagging their finger at them and talking crazy to them and all that. When they put those images of black men like a Terry Crews doing all this moving and shit and shaking and acting like a clown, and then admittedly letting a man he's more than twice the man's size and taller than him, but he let him grab his crotch and he didn't do anything about it. See, that is what breeds that. When you buck break this big black dude in the public, it eases all fears. Now they'll continue to perpetuate the lie that black men are sexual aggressive, they're villains, they're brutes, and all this kind of mess. But nobody believes that, because the biggest and the best of us have been broken down to look like little black Shirley Temple. That's why we have a problem with, for those of you who don't understand, why heterosexual black men have a problem when we see the biggest and the bright. We don't even want to see the smallest of us, but we understand this is a historical strategy to make sure to continue to break down the black man through his image. And then you shove all of these black men into a jungle that's called the prison system. Look, I think I'm preaching to the choir here. Y'all know how this works. But if you dare say anything against this agenda, they will try to cancel you. So you can't get canceled if you believe in God. Number two, you can't get canceled if you know you're a man. And number three, if you're self-sustaining, you can make your own money. Lil Boosie said, you can't blackball me. You can't cancel me. I pay me. And a lot of black men need to understand that. So Kwame Brown and a couple other folks, and even me, we should not be people with big platforms and huge, platforms like a Kwame. It's not bigger than Kevin Samuels and anything like that, but him being who he is has garnered a lot of attention in such a short amount of time. But my point is, how come it's always usually one black man standing up telling the truth? Cat Williams stood up and told the truth. And everybody said, I agree with Cat Williams. I agree with him. Kwame Brown is speaking the pure truth about trades in the schools, how they'll purposely take it out. And I do believe that contributed to a lot of chaos that's going on in these black ghettos with these black boys, along with fatherlessness. But Kwame Brown should not be the only celebrity or the only, he doesn't like to be called a celebrity, the only person with a voice to be speaking out against things that we know that are hurting our community, particularly hurting black men. Why do we stand around and make everybody Jesus Christ? Well, let me explain. See, Jesus walked alone. He had a few simple sycophants around him, but when it got hot, nobody stood with him. And that's how it is. That's why a lot of people don't like to stand up, because black men, we agree when someone else is saying it publicly, speaking truth to power, but we don't stand together. The only time we stood together was in 1995, October 16th, 2.5 million black men showed up in D.C. See, if 2.5 million black men joined Kwame Brown, joined Cat Williams, and say, you know what? He's telling the truth, and y'all not going to shut us up. You know how powerful that would be. And also, these 2.5 million black men, a lot of you can write really well. A lot of you can articulate very well. A lot of you can make videos. See, it's called giving them pushback. You have no power here. But see, what we do is we sit back and let one person have to face 50 giants, 12 tanks. And we sit back and we expect them to actually survive. And then after them trying their best to stand on what they believe in, stand tall. But you can't fight a machine by yourself. When you got other people who agree, that's the weirdest shit on the planet. Why do we do that? Let me take you back to the plantation. When there was a rebellious black male, not just the buck breaking process, the buck breaking process wasn't just violent, beating them to death or killing them. It was also sexual violence. Rape and sodomy was a part of the buck breaking. A main part of the buck breaking, it was sexual violence, sexual assault, homosexual assault on the black male slave. That was another strategy to break them down. And so I think that spirit of butt breaking, butt breaking, that was a part of it. Buck breaking is still in a lot of American black men. And in Africa, apparently, because those little 5'2" Chinese are kicking their ass and taking over the continent of Africa. So the buck breaking spirit seems to be still in the American black male. It makes no sense for somebody. You can see that the stuff is wrong. You see that black boys are being attacked, and black men don't come together 1 million to 2.5 million strong to say no more. We're not doing this. No, we're not having this. That's the problem for me. The problem for me is not people calling the bullshit out. The problem for me is there are people who call the bullshit out as individuals, and they get attacked by this big right wing machine, or even and left wing, because usually Democrats and liberals are the ones who pushing this LGBTQ foolishness on America, and want to see your little girl go to the bathroom, be in the same bathroom with a 30-year-old man wearing a wig and boots and women's boots. It's Democratic liberal foolishness. But we don't say a word. Where are the black religious? Where are the black Christians? Y'all can go to all of the conventions, all in Memphis and Chicago and St. Louis, or the Saints. Where y'all at, Saints? Church of God in Christ? Where y'all at, AME, African Methodist Episcopal? Where are you? Those folks that come, Jehovah's Witness, Hebrew Israelites, where y'all at? Why is Kwame Brown and anybody else standing alone when we all agree that this is wrong? Instead of sitting back and barely even commenting on posts. Why can't we be on one accord when it comes to when the devil's busy and the devil's at work? How come we don't say anything about it? No, devil, get thee behind me. We don't say it. What's wrong? Well, these are my thoughts, but I like to hear what you have to say. I have a link in the chat room. I want to hear what you have to say. If not, if you don't want to comment on this post, just leave your thoughts here in the chat. Leave your thoughts here. I like to hear what you have to say, because what Russell Westbrook is doing, it's nothing new, and I'm not minimizing. What I'm saying is, we've already been taught about this, so why aren't we attacking it the way we should? Yes, it should be attacked. Because if you're a black man or black woman and you want to see your daughter grow up to marry a strong black man, well, this is the threat to that. Just like when Dr. Umar talks about how they're putting black boys in special ed, black women don't even stand up for it. I know why, because a lot of them are single mothers. A lot of them are signing off on that, get those checks. But we have to stop sacrificing our boys, single black moms, so you can get a check. How about you get a husband instead of using your sons as a paycheck? Feminize yourself up and pretty yourself up and get a husband. Sound like too much work? You can't thought when you're trying to get a husband? I know some of you gone too far. You got 3 kids by 4 different baby daddies, and decent guys are not going to carry on. They're not going to sign on to that. You know what I'm saying? So, not surprised by Russell and little nothing X, none of that. I'm just surprised by why so many black men and black women, our race, doesn't stand up against the foolishness when we know our scholars taught us this stuff over 50 to 75 to 80 years of speaking up against racist and white supremacy. No, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter didn't even touch this, because that's not what they're about. They're about making $90 million off the backs the dead bodies of black boys and black men. And they made that $90 million and talking about white supremacy and all of that. And they moved right next door to the very same white folks they're supposed to. Black men, get it together. You see that all this stuff is weird. You know, yeah, people can do what they want to do, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. You know, we got a brother by the name of Irritated Genie. Irritated Genie, man, gives them hell. But why is it just Irritated Genie? Go look him up on Facebook, on YouTube. Irritated Genie understands the homophile, as he calls it, the homosexual agenda. And he goes hard. But he has suffered personal loss, trying to fight for children, trying to fight for grown-ass black men who won't even stand up for themselves, and black women who won't even stand up for their own families, because black women get paid to be single, to destroy the black family, to be pregnant without being a wife. They get paid by the government for that. And to be paid to be angry feminists and lesbians and just mean and mad at black men. They get paid for that. Goldman Sachs just set up a $10 billion 10-year fund for black women. So they get paid to be bitches. Not all, but too many. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's almost like black men, as Dr. John Henry Clark told us years ago, in the 70s, I believe, early 80s. When he's saying it to black people, we have no friends. But I want to say to black men, heterosexual, free-thinking black men, again, heterosexual, free-thinking black men, we have no friends. We need to start coming together and having conventions and getting on one accord, because they're literally trying to wipe us out. If not physically, definitely psychologically, and through black women. And black women have been so silent when it comes to destruction of black boys and black men. They'll lie and say, we always up there. No, you don't. Because if y'all cared about black boys and black men, these schools would be such crap. If you cared about black boys and black men, you wouldn't have these children out of wedlock the way you do. You're like, damn, Rico, you throwing that smoke at everybody. Yeah. The black men have got the spirit, that's their spirit of fear and buck breaking in them in 2021. And black women got the Jezebel spirit, and they act just like employees of white men. Like, I think one of the guys on YouTube, Minister Jap, or even was it Tommy Sotomayor, you referred to him as the right hand of white supremacy. They do act like it, because when stuff like that comes up, they're the first ones that say, ho, don't talk about my gay like that. Don't talk about this strong, heterosexual, masculine man with a wife and children like that, even though he wearing a dress. And also, we don't understand psychology. We don't understand the power of images. Yes, we do. But we pretend, because more of us than we want to admit have bitten that apple. Shut up. We've bitten the apple. We don't care as long as I got mine. And that's what's going to take us out. Not just being attacked, but us giving in to it and signing off on it. A lot of us signed off on our own, signed our own death certificate, so we can get a couple of quarters, a couple of dollars. Instead of just being men and women and standing up against this tyranny, trying to take the children. See, a lot of grown people have already signed off, have bitten the apple. So now they're going after the children. But it's funny how they're trying to just make R. Kelly the Pied Piper. When they can pick any black rapper, any black male athlete, and put them in a dress or skirt. And that right there, and Lil Boosie made, when he was talking to the Breakfast Club, he made an excellent point. Because see, you can learn something from everybody. When he said, isn't it interesting? When I was a kid, I loved the rappers. I loved them. When I was a little kid, I loved the rappers. And the people who put the rappers on know that their music is geared towards first graders all the way up to those who are early college age. For those of us over 40, we can take it or leave it. It doesn't bother us because we're grown. I can listen to whatever. I can listen to Moneybag Yo. I looked at my watch. I got time today. I listen to Project Pat and 3-6 and all that. Push it, mother, push it. Going in and and I can listen to Pimp C and Underground Kings. But it doesn't impact my brain. They want this hardcore music to be pushed on the still maturing brains of little boys and little girls. That's why Megan Thee Stallion is not pushed to grown women, and Cardi B is not pushed to grown women. City Girls, Erica Banks, Saweetie, Mulatto, they're all pushed to first grade to 12th grade girls. And then, of course, college age women and other women who are, and they're influenced by it as well, up to 25 years old. They have the youth market sewn up with the most disgusting and vile lyrics, music, and images. Get it? You destroy the children, you don't have to worry about them being formidable opponents when they're adults, because their brains are already fried. And I would always say, when I teach my groups, substance abuse groups, I would say, you know what? As long as people keep you thinking about going to bed and sex, laying down in the bed all day long, they don't ever have to worry about you standing up to anything. And that's what's going on. That's why it's important. But when we see someone like a Cat Williams or see someone like a Kwame Brown speaking the real about what's really going on, how they're really attacking us, meaning in the spirit of folks like Dr. Jawanza Kunjuku, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben Yakahanan, and Brother Aswa Kwesi, Brother Neely Fuller, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. When they're speaking in their spirit, see, they don't attack just anyone. They know the spirit of the warrior when they sound like that. Sister Cynthia McKinney. See, they understand when they hear them speak, wait a minute. And we allowed them to be famous? No. That's why they pick and choose, so they're allowed to be famous and really wealthy. They don't pick. Look, I know y'all think LeBron James is a big leader, but when he was down with that Black Lives Matter, I knew, I said, yeah, he's one of those apple biters go along, get along games, or part of the gatekeepers. Shout out to Steve Coker. So I'm not going to let this video go on long. I just want to share that. We're going to have to get ourselves together. Black men and black women who you claim you care about black children. Well, if you actually cared about black children, you'll be sounding like Kwame Brown. You'll be sounding like me. You'll sound like Cat Williams. You'll sound like Minister Farrakhan. You'll sound like Marcus Garvey. You'll sound like Malcolm X. And when you sound like them, those people hear you. But if 2.5 million of us, black men and black women, or 5 million of us sound like that, there's nothing they can do about it. So, those of you who are watching this video, and you may check the playback or the replay, thank you so much in advance. Please check out the description box. I have a little short story that I wrote. I have a short story, a book that I wrote. I want you to check it out. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. A conversation with my absent biological father who never wanted to be found. Basically, it's saying, I wrote about the first time I accidentally found out who my actual biological father was at age 22. However, due to the fact that he didn't ever want to meet with me, talked on the phone and all that, I ended up just going knocked on his door at age 39. And this is what he said. When I knocked on his door, he said, hello, and he asked me, how did you find me? I told him Google MapQuest and all that, Google MapQuest. He said, I have to give you an A for effort because I've worked aggressively over the years to prevent you from ever finding me. So the story is in the description box. It's only $10. And it'll let you know how to purchase it. $ Rico the Opinionist. Like, share, and subscribe to this video. Thank y'all so much for checking the video out. I'm sorry I made it so long, but it's just something I want to clarify how important it is when we speak up against things that we know that are hurting our community. All right, y'all be cool. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.